video, we're going to continue our discussion of the roof layout, because as it turns out, it becomes critical in the design of this particular van. What the venting situation is going to be, how am I going to make room for the venting, how I'm going to store water on the roof. Okay, because as you've figured out by this time, part of the design of this is to remove that the requirement for storing water from the inside of the van to the top of the van, so that I can also take advantage of gravity to feed my water system. The other thing I want to raise or talk about a little bit is the PV panel. You know, what it's going to do in order to give me more storage. It's kind of unbelievable, but the PV panel can be used to provide more storage for the van. And also, how can we make it removable? Okay, so for example, you want to park in a shady place, but you want to put your PV panel in a sunny location in order to get the maximum amount of energy. How do you do that, and how should you configure your rack configuration in order to be able to do that? So that's what we're going to talk about in this video.
I take it this is the back of the seats where that is.
Yeah.
Okay. So that you have more roof,
right?
Quite a bit of roof.
Right. Yeah. So I went measured, the size of the roof and everything compared to, and so I've got that dimension pretty well figured out. Let me just show the fan.
Take it as front wheel drive.
Yes, it is.
And it is non-turbo or turbo?
I don't think it's turbo. No.
That's better.
So here's where the max air fan is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now I can put in these.
Are you going to put some windows?
I haven't decided yet.
Because you're going to have something somewhere for the air to get in or out.
Yeah.
Depending on if you're blowing or you're sucking, as far as.
I was just thinking of that today, actually, of putting a floor vent someplace, combined with the max air fan.
Right, at the other end.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I mean, you can always open the windows, but
Right.
I'd like to have kind of a floor vent too, maybe down near those batteries.
There's an interesting thing that one of the guys did that was building one of these, and it's a vent about this big, for a horse trailer.
Uh-huh.
And you can open it up so it'll suck air in.
Yeah.
Or you can put it the other way and it'll suck air out, just from the air blowing past it. So the point is the opening goes either front or back.
Oh,
and
I
you
see.
just go click and it just sits in the roof.
Well,
So you're driving along. He put two of them in the tops of this.
what is it called?
It's for a horse trailer, a vent for a horse trailer.
So anyway, here we got, this is basically a space for
That's basically what he built. So it's the standard truck with the box on it, and then he just stuck that box on it and strapped it down. Go ahead.
So I was thinking of putting water on the roof, and again, I have to keep the height of this low.
Did you go on the floor? Is there any way that you can get some small tanks underneath it? Because remember you got a weight problem up there too.
Right.
So the more weight you could get underneath it, the better off you are. If you can talk
I
about weight.
haven't really looked at that.
But because you can get some pretty small tanks, and you'll probably never ever take this into snow country anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But the point here is that I can
regardless,
put PVC.
you'd have the same problem with the water on the roof or underneath, because it would freeze regardless.
Right.
So the point is if you could figure out how to put some real flat tanks underneath, then.
But then I'd have to pump it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, then you'd have to have a pump.
All right. So, I'm thinking of how I could put in tanks on the roof, and then I decided it's going to give me too high of a profile. It's going to be too tall. So then I'm looking at basically PVC. Okay, how much water can you put in PVC, which will be inside this and inside this?
Right, so you can go 6-inch PVC.
So I can calculate that. It's down here. And that distance is about 168 inches for those two columns.
You're talking about 6-inch PVC?
Yeah, here's 6-inch PVC, 5-inch, and 4-inch. So with 6-inch, I could put 21 gallons in there. 5-inch, I could put in 14.5 gallons, and 4-inch, I could put in 9 gallons. And then this is the outer diameter of those. So this, you know, the 6-inch PVC would be 6 inches above the roof line.
And the other thing is somehow, you know, I mean, if you had just a couple of 5-gallon jerry cans, water cans,
Yeah.
and you fill them up regardless of the space, as long as you can, if you Walmarting it, as long as you can get the bed down to sleep in it,
Yeah.
then that's all that counts. And then when you get somewhere, you just pull the cans out and stick them outdoors, and
Yeah.
you get an extra
Could
10
do that.
gallons or whatever.
That would be an alternative, is to just, you know, put them on the roof when you get there.
Yeah, you could do that, or you can get a tiny pump.
But the advantage of this is, see what I was thinking of, is I could, okay, no. This, I'm going to put an enclosure all the way around this, all right? So it's going to be a steel enclosure, sheet metal, all the way around, with a spoiler in front.
Right, you gotta have that.
Come up. And then
That's
over
all.
this part, I'm going to have glass, you know, over the top of these PVCs, you know, with some insulation in there.
I would plexiglass or something.
Well, yeah, plexiglass, actually.
Yeah.
and then my panel is going to be flush with this. All right. So what this does, and I'm also going to have my panel hinged. All right. So I can raise it up. The front. I can raise the front of it up. Yeah. Well.
No, really.
I can. I mean, the thing's only 40 pounds, you know. So I mean, I can do it by hand. All right.
But here, getting there, this would be easier. No.
Well, anyway, the point that I'm making here is that, you know, this PV panel is 1.5 inches thick.
Right.
Okay, the whole thing is up 6 inches. When I raise this PV panel up, I've got a lot of space in there. Storage.
Yeah.
I can put storage in there. I can put soft goods in there. I can put stuff that doesn't matter if it gets a little warm, you know, and you know, whatever. You know, so I have all of that storage. So that's part of my storage solution.
Yeah, I think
But what I would also like to be able to do with this is, you know, maybe put this in a channel frame rather than just an L on one side. And I'd like to be able to unplug this, pull the PV panel out.
I only see one problem with all of that. It's up there, and then now you're talking about being 6 inches higher even yet. And you physically have, you got to have a ladder to get up there to do all this. I think more of your storage idea, and the point is, depending on how you park the vehicle, you can, you know, park it toward the sun, and so you can raise it. But what I'm saying is, the other issue is that you're 99% of the time, if you're going to go out camping, you're not going to want to park in direct sunlight.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you. So I raise it up a little bit,
right.
Okay, and on one side of it is I'll be able to disconnect it, slide it out to the side.
Okay.
I want to slide it out the side,
put
it over there. I have a 50-foot cable coiled up there.
All right.
I go connect it. All right. So, in other words, I want to make it so that I can basically slide it out.
Put a couple legs on, so you can do an angle.
And I could do the canopy thing too.
All right. Well, I mean, all that would be in the.
Yeah.
That would be all in the mechanism versus the panel itself, which you can slide out. And the fact that you're going to be wind protecting it from the front, and it's going to be set down in between those two 6-foot pieces of PVC.
Right.
And the other thing that does, the other thing that all does is make all that more stealth too.
Yeah, it does. You know, in fact, I was even thinking, you know, I should have a few posts in here so that, you know, if I want, I can just put a tarp, you know, over the top of the whole thing. You know, so all they see is basically a sheet metal enclosure 6 inches or 6 or 7 inches high around the top of the roof. And that's all they see. And then maybe a tarp on top of that.
Yeah. But it's, you know, you're not going to be leaving the thing too much. I'll put it that way. I mean, you're going to go to a restaurant or you'll go to do a Planet Fitness or something and take a shower or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of these people do that. I don't think, as I say, it'll be pretty well stealth
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
And,